Hello everybody, welcome back to WineupTV. I'm buddy Trey Busch, who is the hardest working man in the wine business. If you guys follow Trey on Facebook, he is, man, I'll kind of like poke at him. I get a message back within 3.4 seconds. You must sleep with that phone.
Yeah, it's definitely attached to the hip.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so, you know, it's just another aspect, another leg of, another arm of our marketing program.
Dude, and you're doing such a great job. You know, he's got, not only do they have cool labels, but the wine, the juice in the bottle is phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're here today.
Here today, yeah.
Pure Space, Taste of Walla Walla. Every year they do this, about 45 producers.
Yeah, this year's 55 producers.
55 pouring at least 4 wines. That's over 220 wines you guys could charge. What, $50, $60,
That's
something
right.
like that?
Yeah, 55 bucks, I think.
With appetizers?
So. And with food.
Yeah, with food.
Yeah, sold out though.
That's awesome.
So trade portion sold out this afternoon, and the consumer portion sold out tonight.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
I met Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, great guy.
God, a couple years ago.
So it's funny, Drew's on, if you listen to Colin Cowherd, I listen to a lot of ESPN and the radio in the morning, and Colin Cowherd got a radio program. Every Monday morning during football, Drew calls in. That's awesome. Colin has a wine shop down in California, and always plugs his wine. He's like, Drew Bledsoe here, by the way, Double Back Vineyards,
Double Back.
Walla Walla's making killer wines, and I'm like, you know, that's great for Walla Walla. I'm like, you know, like Drew needs any more press, right? But it's great for Walla Walla because people, you know, if they don't know, other Walla Walla wineries, maybe they're going to search his out and realize what we're doing up there.
Well, you guys are doing some fantastic things, and you know, whenever I go to Walla Walla, I see Drew. It's like he's still the second most handsome man in Walla Walla.
He's a pretty handsome man.
Yeah, he is.
Pretty handsome.
Just what a great guy. Grew up there with his wife, and they moved back there.
Right.
That says a lot about his roots. You know, fame, fortune, all that. And where did he go? He went right back to
back home.
Right back home.
Yep,
that's awesome. Drew Bledsoe, dude, that's so cool. All right, you know what? Sleight of hand. Labels are great.
Great.
Dude, your whole marketing scheme is great with your t-shirts, your swag. It's
Thank
wonderful.
You.
All right.
Yeah. So
talk about what we got today.
Yeah, sure. So I brought 3. These are all new vintages. 3 new wines. This is the 2012 Conjurer. We were just talking about the 12 vintage in Washington. It really was an amazing vintage. If you can have what's called an easy year to make wine, 2012 was an easier year to make wine, especially coming after the heels of 11, which we're going to taste the 11s too, which is more challenging vintage, but almost more rewarding because it was a more challenging vintage. The 12 Conjurer, this is the second vintage we made this wine. The 11 was tasting room only, about 400 cases. That's Neil Patrick Harris on the label. He's been in our wine club since we started it in 2007. We've got an awesome wine club.
And you give him some respect on that.
Oh, we partnered to do that. He actually sent us his image. You know, he was sending us selfies with his iPhone to get some images that we could actually use for the label.
That's awesome.
So, he's a huge Magic fan. He's the president of the Magic Castle in Hollywood, which is where we're the glass pour down in Hollywood for these wines.
I've been there. And, it's a great. If you guys have never been there, it's wonderful. Because when I lived in Culver City, you know.
It's a great place. Great place. Been around for 110 years now, and pretty neat place. So he's president of the castle. Discovered our wines 7 years ago. Became a friend of the winery, wine club member, and then when we had a new wine, we knew we were going to make this new Bordeaux blend. We needed a face for the label because we'd already used everybody else in the winery, and Neil was happy to do it. So,
which I think is cool on both ends. Yeah. He's happy to do it. He sought out your wine, sleight of hand, great label, great product. All right, so what's the blend in this first one?
Yeah, this is 2012. It's 42% Cabernet, 34 Cab Franc, 24 Merlot, the classic sort of left bank style blend, but with a Washington State stamp of that grapefruit, just a little bit of wood, about 20% new French oak. The Cab Franc that's in this wine was actually aged in one of our oak uprights. We have a beautiful oak upright tank that holds about 16 barrels worth of wine, and the Cab Franc that went into this wine was actually aged in that huge upright, and then it went back into the final blend before we bought it.
Was that something different, something new for you?
Yeah, brand new. We bought it with the intention of using it for fermentation. So this year in 2013, the first year we actually got to ferment in it, but the 2012 we took the tank in February of 2013. We took the 2012 Cab Franc, moved it out of barrel into the big tank for 9 months. We bottled this wine in September of last year, so it's essentially 11 months in barrel or tank. Only about 20% of that was new, and what what you can really get, for me, what I get out of this wine is the texture. It tells you everything you need to know about 2012. Really plush, gorgeous weight, not heavy like jammy heaviness, just this great silky, weighty texture.
And how do we usually refer to wines like this?
Slutty.
Very slutty. You know, that should be a word that everybody should be using in their wine vocabulary.
I agree.
You know, slutty's a good thing.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with it.
Slutty's a good thing.
So the Cab Franc, even though it's the second varietal in here, I really get a lot of Cab Franc in the nose, that tobacco, a great spice component in there. And because it's not, you know, swimming in a bunch of oak, there's some sort of minor backdrop of wood. It's really all about that grapefruit. These are 4 different vineyards: Black Rock, Yakima Valley, Red Mountain Vineyard, which is on Red Mountain, Blue Mountain, which is one of our favorite vineyards on Walla Walla, and a little bit of Finney Ridge or Finney Hill vineyard in the Horse Heaven Hills, Dick Bechtel's.
And it's the relationships we've been building over the years.
Yeah,
with
these are now Finney Hills, an estate vineyard for us now. We have a 5-acre block. We have a 20-year land lease on.
That's awesome.
And we planted 5 acres. Our first crop off of our 5 acres comes off this year. We're really excited.
Okay.
We do the same thing at Red Mountain Vineyard on Red Mountain. We're planting 8 acres on Blue Mountain Vineyard, which again is one of our favorite Walla Walla sites. So we're planting 8 acres on Mike Corliss' site, who owns that vineyard. We'll continue to work with the existing fruit, but then we'll have these 8 acres that are, you know, we pick the clone, we pick the spacing, we pick the varietals, and these will all flow back into our program to make these 3 wines plus the 2 Syrahs that we make too.
So this year being so cold in Washington State, any damage in the vineyards?
No, no.
You got pretty lucky?
Nothing. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we got below 0 once.
Good.
So it was colder, but you know, it really takes a freeze, and we shut down very nicely, and so it went to dormancy, and nothing. I mean, I've heard on the rocks, I've heard maybe some, you know, minor bud damage on the Grenache, but you know, nothing too bad.
You know, guys, for you guys who don't know, Walla Walla is about 5 hours east of Portland, and it's one of 2 AVAs, American Viticulture areas, across state lines. It's in Washington and Oregon. And what they have to deal with there are really hot temperatures in the summertime, and then sometimes you get these Arctic blasts that come out of Canada right down, like most of the country suffered this year. And it's been just absolutely amazing. You know, we take for granted what goes in a bottle of wine, but as a farmer, as a grower, you just can't factor that into your business plan. Right. You know, damage.
Yeah. I mean, or you just know that historically it's been every 7 to 8 years you've had these killer freezes that have come down. 04 was the last really bad, you know, cut everything to the ground on Walla Walla kind of freeze. There was some damage in 10 Thanksgiving. You know, it's a cooler vintage. Vines weren't shut down, and we had this Thanksgiving, you know, single digit, maybe in the teens, and so that hurt some of the buds. Sure. But you know, whether they cut to the ground, and just depends on where your site was and if you were protected or not. Yeah, every 7 to 10 years, it seems like we have that big killer freeze that comes through.
This wine is slutty. It's good. It's you know, but doing what you do. This is your 14th vintage, right? Working. Who do you hang out with when it comes to blending time? You know, a lot of my guests here probably don't know. You know, when they say 25% this, 15% that, 80% that. How do you determine all that?
Sure. That's so my business partner Jerry Solomon, who will be at Pure Space today. Jerry and I and my assistant winemaker Keith Johnson, we will sit down in the spring after harvest, so typically in May, June, and we will go through every lot that we made from the previous vintage, and we will put 90% of our blends together during that 3 or 4 day period. We start with our reserve wines, so we start with the Illusionist, Archimage, and the Levitation Syrah. Those are the 3 wines that we make first, and once we nail those down, inevitably we still have 150 or 200 barrels worth of wine still left over, because these are our best barrels from our best lots and our favorite blends, right? But we still have all these great lots left over. Then we go to the Conjurer, and then we go to the Spellbinder. And and we'll sit there we've got a 100 ml beaker, we've got our glasses, we've got all of our lots laid out. We taste everything separate first, and in our head we know what, you know, stylistically what our wines, what we want them to be like. We want consistency, but we also want to make sure that we want the vintage to come through. We're not trying to mask the 11 vintage. We love the 11s. Sure. And we want that great acid profile for the 11s to be there. So, but because we're now using the consistent vineyards that we're working with every year, there is definitely a sleight of hand stamp and a vineyard stamp on our final wines.
Excellent. That's very well said. All right, retail roughly on this bottle? $
28.
$28, guys. Under $30.
1200 case production.
Quality in the glass. Oh, this is delicious stuff.
It's gonna be a great glass pour at some sort of higher end restaurants, but a bottle price. That's going to be under $60 on a restaurant list, and that's sort of the sweet spot.
Yeah.
You go to a great steakhouse and get a $55 blend from Washington State.
No.
Can't beat it.
No. Yeah. All right, next wine.
Cool. Archimage. My favorite wine that I make, I think, year in, year out.
God, what a difference in just the nose.
It's 2011. It's 54 Merlot, 46 Cab Franc. I have a love affair with Right Bank Bordeaux blends and Saint-Emilion, Cheval Blanc sort of being the benchmark wine. Who wouldn't want to make a wine like that? That's my goal every year when we craft this wine. It's been Cab Franc dominant in some vintages. This year's Merlot dominant. About 30% new French oak on the 2011 vintage. We backed off on the wood a little bit in 11 just because it was not quite as ripe. But you get the great Cab Franc characters in that wine. And
absolutely. And what I like about this wine is the acidity. You know, it really grips you in a good way. And this wine here, give this 10, 15 years.
For sure.
You know, at least.
I think I put 15 to 20 on the back label. It's going to be a gorgeous wine, 4 or 5 years in bottle as it starts to open up. But it's got this, I think it's going to have a really long life.
Now, here's a problem I have with like 20 years. We're ready to drink in 20 years. I'm 52.
I know.
You know. You don't want to say that to an 80-year-old man. You know, you want to say that to like a 25-year-old person, and it's like, okay,
I'm looking for those millennials, man.
My mid-40s, I'll be able to drink this when it's peaking, right?
But it's so much brighter, that bright red fruit character in that, and you're right, the acid, it just sort of lifts it. It's a very, very bright wine.
This is screaming steak, protein.
Yeah,
it is.
Right now, it is for sure, and the illusions will be the same way.
Yum.
The 11. So I opened these this morning about maybe an hour ago. So
okay. All right.
Then sure, you can do the same thing.
And then the retail on this roughly?
Yeah, 52.
$52, all right.
These aren't officially released yet. These will be out mid-March. Our wine club gets these wines first. We've got an awesome wine club. And then...
plug that. What's your website?
Yeah, Sleight, if you just Google Sleight of Hand Cellars, but it's sofhcellars.com. And you can join our wine club online.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's fun.
And how many shipments you guys give a year?
We do 2 a year, and our 6-pack and our 12-pack, essentially you get 3 and 3 of these, or 6 and 6 of these in the spring, and then our Syrah and our Grenache, that's our fall shipment.
Okay.
So
and those are fall wines too. I like drinking Syrah in November, December. You know.
I'm gonna pour our Levitation today. You can come by and taste that.
Oh, definitely.
Our Levitation Syrah, which is a dynamite bottle of wine from 11 as well. So yeah, it's we think our wine club is pretty fun. I've got some exciting news that my wine club members don't know about yet. I can't even talk about it here because I haven't sent out our newsletter. I can't officially talk about it unless you're going to hold this back a week.
I won't. No, Mark probably having this up and
all right, perfect. Yeah.
No,
so I got some awesome. People when you join a wine club and maybe the winery will put in like a tasting note with a recipe that they think the winemaker thought it, this will go great with pasta or whatever. We're doing something similar to that, but it's going to be way
cooler. Come on, go ahead.
Way cooler. I can't do it.
Can't do it? All right.
Can't do it.
That's a sleight of hand right there.
We go.
All right, so talk to me about this last wine.
Our Illusionist. This is our Cabernet. It's 96 Cab. Is that right? 96 Cab, 4 Petit Verdot. Yeah. Red Mountain Vineyard, Finney Hill, which is probably our favorite cab site in the state of Washington, which is one of the reasons we planted 5 acres out there. So Red Mountain, Finney Hill, and Scoopney Flats.
So Petit Verdot, a lot of people don't know about Petit Verdot. It's generally a blending grape. You don't put a lot of Petit Verdot. It's really inky, really colorful, good tan, good structure.
I've made 100% Petit Verdot before. I bottled 100% Petit Verdot.
You'd have to brush your teeth at least 6 times.
You pretty much, yeah, you do. Actually, we bottle it in Magnum, and we called it the Fifth Element because it's sort of the 5th minor blending grape.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
It was, because it's in Magnum, it'll last for 40 years. It is a massive wine. It's inky, it's full of tannin, full of acid, full of color, but it's nowhere near time to drink. So,
all 3 of these are so distinctly different. Mostly Cab. You got your blends. This is as Left Bank wine, great wine. Just it's that Cab Franc and that Merlot. The Merlot, the tannins are very integrated, and this blend here, it's just delicious. This is phenomenal. These are fantastic, and this goes for roughly
same $52.
All right, so your top end wine's $52 retail.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? I think that's great. With my wine tours, I go to a lot of wineries around here, and some wineries. Now I understand you have to have something special, but once you get over $150 a bottle, it's a hard sell. And I understand you want to make it a hard sell because not everybody's going to have one. But I like how approachable your wines are, and I like how drinkable they are.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fine line of making a wine that's going to age, but knowing that 90% of your customers, whether they're in your wine club or not, or they're just consumers walking in your tasting room, or they're coming into your shop to buy this wine, probably going to be consumed in a week. And so there's, you really do have to, you know, you're either Randy Dunn, where the cult status, where you just know you're going to put these wines away for 20 years, or you got to fight the good fight like me and make wines that people can open up and then, you know, say, wow, this is really delicious if they happen to open up next week, or 10 years from now when they opened up, go, wow, this is really delicious. And so not easy to do, but
my challenge for everybody out there: next time you're at the store, save up some money, go to the store and buy 6 bottles of one kind and put it away. Lay it down, put it in your closet. If you don't have a cooler, put it in your closet where your shoes are. It's the coolest place in your apartment, in your house, or your basement if you have one. And drink a bottle of wine. Let's say Thanksgiving. That's my pivotal point every year. Every year for 6 years, and see how those wines are aging. And then by the time you get to your 6th one and you want to buy more, it's all gone. And you'll think, God, I wish I would have bought a case. So, you know, and it is true though. Most people buy wine today.
Yep.
And it's like, I got a party next weekend. I want to bring a really nice bottle of wine. Guys, bring these wines. These are awesome. Trey,
good to see you,
dude, I will see you today at the tasting. But guys, you guys have a great afternoon, and drink well, drink often, and we'll talk to you later.